people, we promised to give you an update, and today we are back with one. You're welcome to another edition of New Strength, and of course, I have my able guests in the studio with me. You're welcome, sir, once again.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so like I said, we have an update, and that update is on Pastor Iluyomade. Yes, he is back in the news. And from very credible sources, we have the information that he has been gifted a plot of land at the opulent Eko Atlantic. And we know what that means, don't we? Because we know that, a plot of land sells for like 5 billion in that area. And of course, we know that he's going to be getting, like how many plots is he going to be needing, or how much is he going to be
at least the first news there is the fact that he has a place
of his own.
So, you recollect that our last edition on this topic,
yes,
I brought up the issue of the definition of fellowship within the Christian context. And as in the way we understand it in Nigeria.
Yes.
Because most of us see a fellowship as an aside of a church.
Yes.
Where people gather in small numbers, get to know themselves, talk deeper about the Bible, at least most of the times about what was discussed in church on Sunday, whether it is Sunday evening or Wednesday evening, and then see more of themselves, know what their needs are, and all that is wrapped up in 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes, or maximum of 1 hour 30 minutes. So that was why at that time I asked that salient question: family fellowship. Is it a church or a fellowship? In the context of the Nigerian definition. But now we are saying that
it's more than a fellowship.
It's more than a fellowship because people brought up some issues. Pastor Idowu Iluyomade should humble himself, return to RCCG, go back and plead with the General Overseer Worldwide, Pastor Adeboye, and reintegrate himself into the system. But like I equally said on that program, there are certain things that would have been expected, and seriously so, to show us that there is a need for that move to return, reintegrate into the RCCG system, Redeemed Christian Church of God. But we've not seen all of those things on paper or on ground.
Yes.
A panel was set up to probe him. We've not had anything from that panel. He was suspended, and that suspension is over a year on that region, and then the man has been he attended church, as we were told, for a while, and then this suspension was not lifted. He was not given another role, no other assignment. And this is a man, like I also said, who abandoned his initial love of law to go into the ministry. So meaning that the ministry had a better place in his life than the legal calling. So if he's not returning to law, then what else does he do? So it means he has to return to pastoring. And like we said, the public outing 2 Sundays ago was not the beginning of the family fellowship.
True.
From what sources told us, this had been on since mid-November, December, and all of those services, they've been taking place in his house. So the outing 2 Sundays ago was just at the Civic Center, was just to say we have arrived. And truly, we can see that the family fellowship has arrived. If indeed we need to do some permutation or human thinking, we know that a church that will want to announce its presence can be built on a plot of land. And if a plot of land, on the average, goes for 5 billion at Eko Atlantic, then with human thinking, I'm just thinking as a human being, perhaps the church, the gifter of that land decides he wants to give them 1 acre, which is 6 plots. Then we are looking at about 30 billion.
When you say the gifter, it further proves that, like we said in the last program, that there are, solid, powerful people behind him as, supporters or board of trustees in quotes.
Yeah, I've never had my doubt about it. And I always say to people, anywhere you are as a leader, if you don't have those who can die for you, speaking loosely now, who are willing to give up their lives for you, then you have not led. That's the meaning. Then you have not led. Then it means you are not a good man. And from what we learned when he was suspended because of that need to probe the finances of the parish of David, people were literally fighting for him to stay on because they believed in him. Not because he's God, but because a lot of them could relate with him. Like I said on the last program, the late Abat Wigwe, the former GCE of Access Holdings, who was former GMD of Access Bank, would not have released such an amount to RCCG without a man of Iluyomade standing and the assurance by the General Overseer worldwide. But he wouldn't even only allow it to depend on the GO because he's dealing directly with a particular parish. It is not the name of the GO that will be on that paper. It's the man who is signing. So he must have some level of confidence. And for the so-called big men to have rallied round to want him to stay, it showed that he's loved. And we said it on the last program. There are certain people who are his backers.
Yes.
And we mentioned some names, so I'll refer our audience to go back and check. Because when you have people of means like that who are with you, then there is something. And before the program, you will remember I said to you, there is a woman of God
True.
who I also know, but who I won't mention, who is also solidly behind him. And when you also know the exploit of that woman of God, you know she's capable of pulling the crowd and resources for him. That woman of God is a close ally of his wife, Civic Center. So when you add all of those things together, plus the number of contacts that the wife can boast of, then you know that anything can happen. I won't be shocked if in a matter of months we see the family fellowship worshiping in Eko Atlantic. Because a lot of people will feel Eko Atlantic is just sandy, is this, it will take years to build. No, technology has gone beyond that. Technology has done a lot. You can start a building and want to go up to 10 floors, and you're able to do it in a year. Because technology.
Yes. Money.
No, it's money that it's technology.
Yes.
Because there was a time I was just inquiring as a young reporter when Winners Chapel was still around Yanopaja, Rajioba, specifically. That how did Bishop Oyedepo achieve taking up the building where the children worship on Sunday within such a short time? And I was told there is a technology that allows you to have a decking in place, and in 7 days you can start building, or less. You can start taking it up because you have the technology. So it's just a matter of technology and having the right people to handle your buildings for you. So I'm really, really happy all of this is unraveling, especially for those who feel we were saying nonsense when we started on this journey of analyzing what is taking place in Redeem. And like I also said on the last program, from what we had, even Baba Adeboye is not in opposition to Pastor Iluyomade moving. Just my worry, like I said, a panel was set up. Where is the outcome?
We didn't get that. Yes.
We need to know what is happening. You know, that's just my only worry. Otherwise, we are good to go.
So do you think that with this new developments, and then with the erection of the building and all that, is it going to be able to draw more people? A lot more people may not be at his fellowship because it's taking place at his house now. But once there's a structure in place,
it's taking place at Civic Center. Civic Center is a place where people like to go. It's spacious, it's comfortable. It's if you want to have an event in Lagos, by the time you take 1, 2, 3, it will be among the places where people take events to book launch, weddings, and all the rest. So Civic Center is a big place.
But Civic Center we know, but now he's having his own, so to say, his own structure, his own in his own name. Like we know that this property belongs to
Family Fellowship.
Family Fellowship, just like this is a Redeemed Church, this is Winners Church, and all that. That's what I'm saying, So at that point, it has moved from being a fellowship or people being confused that is it a fellowship? Now we know that yes,
it's a church.
It's a church.
If you've been to Eko Atlantic, it's a city on its own. There is a building there where you have apartments. The number of people or the number of apartments you have in that place, when occupied, even if it's only those people who pour into that church, is enough.
Wow.
And it's not a place where the faint-hearted or the shallow pocket people can stay. I was told a room in that apartment, for now, goes for 120,000 naira per night.
Wow.
So if you are with your family or you have more than one, then it means you can imagine that you can pay up to 300,000-400,000 naira for a night. So don't forget, there also, we have one of the best television stations now around the world. Television Continental, TVC there. There are staff there. People want to use their Sundays who are on work, who just want to quickly work. You have buildings all around there. people who go for conferences, and all the rest. So, even if it's those people alone and the people who have moved with him or who believe in him so much and are worshiping with him, I'm sure you will get. I don't have a doubt that he's going to be able to build a church. The most important thing, like it's always been said in Christendom, is soul winning. It's not about who is doing it. It's not about the platform on which you are doing it. It's not about the name of the church. It's about soul winning. Once it is not about jamboree, it is not about gymnastics. I just want to display I'm a good pastor, then I don't see how that can be managed. And a lot of people are saying it like it's a big man's church.
By virtue of location.
Even
if only that.
Even apart from location, those who are involved, the man and his wife, I've always also said, you need to know that there is a place for comfort in every sphere of life, including religion. Some of us left churches, I won't mention names, that we used to sit on wooden chairs, no foam at all.
Are there still churches like that these days? No.
Go and check out. There are still some. No, or these days they have put minimal foam. And then with ceiling fans, making noise on top of you. And you are there for 5-6 hours. And then when it is time to go and do offering, they call you out like 6-10 times. You see, especially those mamas, you will have 30 naira ready to be dancing, to go and do all of this. We've moved past that era. And that's why you find out that a lot of those churches, they are now reforming also because they are losing membership.
So you are saying aesthetics is important.
Comfort is important. Without sounding immodest, I attend this Star Christian Center. Even the toilet has AC. So you even want to go and, even if you don't feel like easing yourself, sometimes you won't even want to go there. So
is it about that?
It's not so much. I'm only saying that for those who feel that it's not important, you need to know that we are now in a place where people are practicing heaven on earth. We don't need to wait until we get to heaven before we feel the presence of God. We don't need to. So it's a matter of you knowing what you want. A church where a governor's wife is going to be, a governor is going to come, a president possibly will come there to worship, former presidents, and then you now want to say it should just be a wishy-washy place. It's always difficult. And that's why in those days, you had people who will come to church only once in a while. Now people want to go to church because it's even comfortable for them. It's comfortable. And that is the way people are going now. Religions too are changing, not just Christianity. Even in Islam, in traditional worship, you see that things are changing. Some people from Nigerian Tribune, they went to the home of Professor Wande Abimbola. And they said where he consults, you need to get there and see the kind of setup that is there. So even the gods that we they try to commonize and use the G, small G for, they know the what now, because you must be in a comfortable position for you to even be able to talk to God. It's
Wow.
easier. You know, there was this joke of the rich man who went to pray in church, and there was a poor man who was beside him, and the poor man was saying, God, if only you can give me 10,000. If only, and then the rich man just dipped his hand in his pocket. Keep quiet. Let me talk about billions here. And gave him the 10,000 to go. So it's not so much about that. That's just as an aside. But religion is now not, like some have put it, a commercial venture, but you must make it attractive to the people you want to invite to God, so that in the first place, you bring them in with that serene atmosphere. When they come in, then you now begin to feed them with what they want. But the first thing is the coming in, which a lot of people always misunderstand. It is gone past before where you go on the streets and you take your bell and you keep ringing and you keep shouting on the streets.
Some people are still doing that, though.
Yeah, some are doing that. But we're saying, when you even go on the streets, what are the things you use in bringing people in? Those are the small things. That's why you see some churches who are on the island, the opposition buses in Ojota. I'm talking of Lagos now. Or if in other cities, in other states too, they are doing it. The opposition buses in different places, bring them in. That's the first thing. It is when they are in that you can then begin to tell them what they need to hear. When they are outside, they can't hear you. So when people talk of big man's church, I say, no. Go to even all the old church, all these foundational churches. Go to Catholic church. Go to Anglican church. Go to Baptist. You'll see that they are modernizing. You see them with air conditioners, comfortable chairs. Everybody is. Otherwise, you are just going to be wasting your energy as a pastor speaking to a congregation of 20 people on Sunday morning.
So are you saying that we should be expecting a lot from this church? From this fellowship of, what is it?
I see the person behind the vision being able to drive the vision. It's happened before. Some people have left churches, even in more controversial circumstances, and some have left even not in controversial circumstances, and they've been able to stand on their own. We really don't need to mention names. A lot of the churches that we see around now making waves, quote and unquote, their pastors took off from somewhere.
Do you think it will be in competition with the City of David?
There's no competition in God's word. There is no
sure
competition. Yes, I'm very sure. What is going to happen is that people are looking forward to souls being saved. No competition. But like I equally said, church has gone beyond the way people see it. That's why some said it's not a business. No, it's not. But you must have people who are business-like to run churches. And I'll tell you why. A church that you want to make comfortable for people to be able to come in, to pull them in, and get them on the pedestal of God, you must make the place comfortable. Try to imagine the amount of diesel you'll need, for instance, on a Sunday morning in a place like Winners Chapel that has so many services and an auditorium that can seat not less than 50,000 per time. Imagine the number of generators they'll be using as once. A lot of people don't realize that when you have big crowds like that, they split those places into sections. One generator powering here, one powering there, you know? So when you do that and you are burning diesel, You can imagine how much will be consumed on a Sunday only. So when you don't have somebody who has the capacity to be able to plan, that church is going to run aground. That's why people are saying the betters are this, that. No. Yes, you may say some are flamboyant. But the point remains that they must be able to maintain the pace at which they take off. I don't expect to go to a church that is located, for instance, in Eko Atlantic and go and sit on a wooden chair. I don't expect that to happen. I don't expect to enter into such a church and what I'm seeing are standing fans or ceiling fans. I expect there should be a central AC. I expect to see a well-beautified auditorium. So when you are doing all of that, you then need a man who understands the dynamics of the spiritual and the physical, who can do, along with his team, some calculations and say, this is what will happen. So I don't see any competition. The team is running well. It has a vision. That vision is to ensure that on every street, you have a redeemed church. If the street is a long one, have as many as you can. It's a strategy for soul winning. What is important to the church is soul winning. If
are the souls really being won?
Well, it now depends on the individuals. Because when some come into the church, they profess. Your profession is what the church has to deal with. After which, you do some, you go through some classes, you are baptized, and that will be it. No pastor will come and look at you at home, whether you are lying or whether. Look at some people in the past who have brought stolen money as tithe and offering to churches. Did the pastor tell them to go and steal and bring to the church? The pastor didn't say so. So, we really don't need to deceive ourselves when it comes to this. A lot of people heap all the blames on the pastors. The pastors are also human. They can't be going from home to home looking at who is truly born again or not, who is beating his wife or who is not beating his wife. The most important thing for the church is, do you profess Christ? You say yes. You go through series of teachings. Some even write exams to be sure that what you have learned is inside of you, and then you go into baptism. So, but a lot of people bring it back to the pastors and it blames on them. They are humans. So, but I don't see a competition anywhere. Rather, what I see is an expansion of the vision to win souls for Christ. How it is handled is a different ballgame. But let's see. If they praised Pastor Idowu Iluyomade when he was in charge of the city of David, let's see what comes up. And let's still hope, like I said during our last program, that one day we are going to see the report of that panel that was set up.
We are hoping and we are waiting. Thank you so much, sir, for your contribution today. And viewers, stay tuned to this channel for more updates. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And also follow us on all our social media handles at The Eagle Online. If there's any more updates or any more news, we'll let you know. See you for now. Bye.